So today we're going to be building something that every website needs, and that's navigation. We started on it in the last lesson, but we're going to continue on. We're going to add some styling to it, and we're going to have some things going. So in the last lesson, remember, you should have added 2 pages to your navigation. So mine say biography and career, and both of those pages should have your navigation bar or your navigation on them already, and they should have a basic structure for what they're going to look like. If they're not completely built out yet, that's okay. You can do that on in the last week when we're adding the final touches to our websites. So today you should have at least, if nothing else, you should have 2 pages that link to 2 files in your path, in your folder, and you should have a basic structure set up for those 2 pages. Our goal today is to just build a simple bar that appears on every page. So that means the same links in the same places access all pages. So if you look at mine, we've run it. All right, we have biography. Great. I can access biography. I can access career. What I can't access from anywhere right now is home. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to add a new link to index.html, and I'm going to call that the home page. So if you haven't done that already, pause the video right here and go ahead and add that. So when I'm on the biography page, I should be able to access the home page, but I can't because I haven't added that to the biography page yet. So make sure you added all 3 of your pages that you have set up. So pause the video right here and go ahead and make that happen. All right, once you've gotten that done, all of your pages should have home, biography, career, or whatever the 2 pages are that you added. So when you're on the biography page, you can click back to the home page. Remember that just because it's called index.html doesn't mean that's the text that has to show up. But this part right here, the HTML file, has to exactly match what your file is called in your folder. Okay? So no matter where I'm at, I can get back to the home page, or I can get to another page. Okay? So if you don't have that yet, pause the video right here and make sure that you have your 3 links on all 3 of your pages. So we have our navigation section near the top, something like what you see here. Each one will be in an A tag with an href. So let's talk about styling. By default, links show up blue and underlined. And that's fine, but we can improve it with CSS. So in CSS, I can style links using the A selector. For example, I might change the color and remove the underline. Text decoration is the property that removes the underline. We don't want to make it hard to read. High contrast matters. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap these links in a container like a nav or a element division, a div element with a class like navbar, .navbar. Then I can style the bar with spacing and background color. And once you like it on one page, then you can just copy and paste it into the other pages. So how we do that is by creating a class or a div, and we're going to just create a class. All right, so in your HTML files, you're going to have to do this for all 3 of your pages, or however many pages you have going now. We're going to make a nav class. So that looks like this. We type out the open bracket and nav and then class, and we're going to set that equal to nav bar. Okay, now we don't want that closing tag right there, that close nav. We don't want that right there. We want that after all of our links. Okay, so we've opened the nav class, we've called it nav bar, and we have all of our links inside before we close it. Now, excuse me, this has to go on every single one of your pages for it to style every single one of your pages. So before we move on to CSS, pause the video real quick and go ahead and copy and paste that whole thing into all of your pages. So you're going to select it, Control C it, then I'm going to go to the biography section, and where my nav bar is currently, I'm going to take that out and I'm going to paste in my new one. And I'm going to do the same thing in the career one. Okay, so now we have everything we should have in our HTML files. Now notice it doesn't change anything yet because we haven't gone to the CSS file to style it. So now you want to go to your styles, and I'm just going to go all the way down to the bottom, and I'm going to create a style. And I highly recommend you play around with this as much as you want. You know, go to that W3 Schools or those extra resources I gave you and do as much as you want with this. But we're going to just do a background color. We're going to add some padding. And we're going to align the text. Okay. Now, this is the container. Okay. See, I just put that little comment right there called container. Next, we're going to style the links. Okay. And that looks like this. We're still saying do this in the nav bar for the A tags. We want them to be white. We want text decoration to be none. That means it's going to take the underline out. We want a margin of 0 to 15 pixels. Oops, I put a 1. 0 and a space and 15 pixels. And we want a font size of 18 pixels, and we want a font weight of bold. All right, now that styles our links, and then the last thing that we're going to style today is the hover effect. And again, we use the dot operator to call our nav bar. And then for the A link, we want to style the hover effect. And we want to just change it to hot pink. Okay. So if you need to, pause the video and make sure you have all of that code in there. So now when you run that, if you ran it exactly like mine, it should show up like this. Now, because we applied that in every one of our pages, it's going to show up like that in all of our pages. Okay? And that's the way we want it. We want this to be the same across all of our pages. So what you need to do now is if you need to, this was a lot of information today for lesson 2. If you need to, pause, build your navigation, copy it to just do all the things, pausing, rewatching, and just making sure that you have all of everything exactly the same way. Okay. Again, this is a lot of information in this video, so you're probably going to have to pause several times after. If you've watched it all the way through and not done anything, you're going to have to go back and rewatch it and pause in places and add this to your final project application. You should have at least 3 pages in your in your navigation. You should have all of those on every page. Okay? And you should have styled it. It does not have to look exactly like mine, but it does need to be styled. Have fun.